Ripple is taking over Canada. That and much, much more on today's show of Sin City Crypto. Welcome. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every single weekday, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. On today's show, we're discussing not only Ripple in Canada, we're discussing Bitcoin, Ethereum. A weird coin allows people to withdraw fake Aptos on an exchange. What the hell's going on? Also, speaking of what the hell's going on, a $200 million DeFi hack that a centralized server was hacked. Doesn't make sense, I know, but we'll discuss that. Also, we're going to give you an update on what's to come this week. Should we expect volatility? We have so much to talk about, and we're doing a very special giveaway, so stay tuned. But first, I'd like to give away the opportunity to welcome our special co-host today. It's my man, Forrest. Forrest, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for joining me, brother. It's always a pleasure. Before we get started, do want to give a couple shout-outs. Well, 3 shout-outs. One shout-out is to you, the community. Second shout-out is to channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. Today's 4K stream is brought to you by them. They are sponsoring this channel. If you run a business and you want to maximize your networking, your IT, and your cybersecurity, there is no company better to call than Cam's Blue Wire Tech. Visit bluewiretech.com or click the link in the description of this video. Also, today's show is brought to you by Radix, the top layer 1 DeFi in our space. If you want to play around in their sandbox, they got a big upgrade coming this Wednesday. We're super excited for that. Visit radixdlt.com. And there is also a link in the description of this video. Now, Forrest, you announced on our show on Friday that you're having a baby. You also mentioned that you're having a boy. Who knows, maybe if you have more kids, you might have a little daughter. I have a daughter. And to any of you watching, if you have a daughter, pay attention. This is going to change your life. Rocco, cue up my laptop. Guys, got to start them early. Get these children to sign the contract. No boyfriend until 2041. Once ink hits the paper, that's it, guys. I love how the dad just like
taking a picture of the father. So proud the father, yes. Yeah, the contract is on.
Yeah. So guys, just be careful out there. Also, speaking of contracts and kids, let's just listen to this one. This one deserves audio, okay?
Okay, go.
All right, Tyler, first time driving a forklift. I want you to pick up this container right over here and put it over there. You got it?
What do you think's going to happen, Forrest?
I think he's going to pick up that container over there and put it over there.
Okay.
One less and he's ready to go. Be careful of the customer's truck over here, okay?
Oh, he's going to hit the customer's truck.
Oops. He's not doing bad so far, you know? I mean, I'm not a forklift operator
Look to your right.
myself.
To your right. No, Tyler, to your right. Brakes. All right, Tyler, first time driving a forklift.
You know, first time driving a forklift, also first time hearing left and right, apparently. He said he's telling him to go right, but the guy goes left. So guys, you need more than one day of practice running forklifts. That's the moral of the story. Now, speaking of stupidity, you know, typically you go pump gas, there's usually a car wash there, but you're not supposed to wash your car with gasoline.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Forrest, what would
Okay,
you do if you're at a gas station and you saw
Yeah,
this?
so we
Would
can
you
go
run
in
for
and
the
tell
hills,
somebody.
or would you try to maybe help this person who obviously...
There is nothing to help with that.
I'd keep a very safe distance, and I'd probably yell at them to stop. That is just crazy.
I wonder
don't
if at
know.
any point...
That's like the Darwin Awards.
I wonder if at any point she's like, damn, this is a really expensive car wash.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
All right.
$50.
Also, a visual representation of my money in crypto versus my money in the bank. Well,
That's weird, man. Where did you get this video, man?
I
I gotta tell you, this one is good.
That's why people say we're always the crazy people, you know?
You finally get a nice video.
Thanks, Rock.
There we go.
I got so excited I spilled water over myself. Now, guys.
I was waiting for the part when FTX hit. What happened next? She goes on the floor or what happened?
We can't talk about that because we get banned. Now, I do want to talk about this, some actual news here, guys. Michael Saylor is at it again. Do you think anyone from like his family or company might be telling him, might be having an intervention like, Michael, we're all gathered here today. We know you have a problem. You have a gambling problem. You have a problem with buying Bitcoin because the guy just does not stop. Another 5,500 Bitcoin purchased for $147 million at an average of 27,000 Bitcoin. And as of September 24th, MicroStrategy now holds a little over 158,000 Bitcoin acquired for $4.68 billion at an average price of $29,582. Forrest, what are your thoughts on this? And if you were a shareholder of MicroStrategy, would you kind of be like, what the hell's going on here? I think we have enough exposure. What are your thoughts?
I think at this point, is for a while, MicroStrategy's essentially just been a Bitcoin ETF, a container for Bitcoin, and that seems to be their strategy. Look, I mean, obviously, Michael Saylor is very bullish on Bitcoin, to say the least. But what's interesting about this is he's buying so much of it that he can't really ever sell it, because if he ever starts selling it, it's going to panic the market. And also, he's got what, 4.68 billion. You can't just easily sell 4.68 billion Bitcoins. So he's in it for the long haul. His bet is very different than a lot of other people who are just betting on market cycle over market cycle, right? Like the average person that holds, a portion of their portfolio in Bitcoin right now, they can say, oh, it's a bear market right now. We've got the Bitcoin halving coming up. We've got a Bitcoin ETF coming up. In the next year or two, I will probably be able to sell this for 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, whatever, however high Bitcoin goes. I think Michael Saylor is putting himself in a position where he probably can't ever realistically sell. So he's got to find a way to, either Bitcoin has to just keep going up. And I think that is his plan. I think he does believe that Bitcoin will just continually go up forever. Or he's going to have to figure out a way to, earn some revenue streams from his Bitcoin. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it will be. And he has said that they never plan on selling their Bitcoin. And so this is a strategy they've adopted. Will it work out? I believe it will work out. We've seen what's happening in El Salvador. Everyone, when El Salvador went essentially on the Bitcoin standard, started taking it as, what's the word I'm looking for, Forrest? Pupusas, yeah.
Salvador.
No, the word is gone over my head, but taking it as a form of payment, okay? Legal tender, Jesus Christ. When they accepted it as legal tender, everyone, including the WEF, the IMF, and everyone was like, what the hell are they doing? This is, oh my God, get out of Salvador. This is risky. And then they paid back, I believe it was either $900 million or $900 billion bond before the bond date matured in its entirety. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's still too early, but it does show signs. We'll see what happens and what kind of narrative spins out of this for MicroStrategy. I believe it's going to be a positive one. Something else that is a positive one to our community, guys. Forrest is doing something very, very special. We are going to pick one person, and Forrest, out of the kindness of his heart, is going to give 6 months of cysteine research access for free to someone from our community. Guys, I'm telling you, this is some good stuff, man. You're going to get indicators. You're going to get the research hub. You're going to get emails with breakdowns of projects. You're going to get, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I'm super excited. One lucky winner. And all you got to do, guys, is be active in the chat. And the Nightbot's going to pick a random person. If you are a channel member, we gave you a little extra luck because we want to thank you for supporting the channel. And if you want that little bit of extra luck, well, you too can become a channel member. Or if you wait for Jimmy, he might just gift you some. Or if you don't want to wait, you just do it yourself. Now, I want to share this tweet from Mason versus Lewis. I believe that's how you say his last name. Said this needs to be talked about. And he posted this picture here. How many transactions can I make with $1? And we see here, Algorand leads the way, 10,500 transactions to spend $1. Hedera, 10,000, Solana, 7,500. And then there's a massive drop off to essentially Ethereum based, throw in Multiverse X, throw in Avalanche, throw in Cardano. Forrest, there's been a lot of FUD around Algorand. It is sitting right at 10 cents, but it was under 10 cents for a very long time. This is a project that had an all-time high of over $3.50. What are your thoughts on Algorand, and what are your general thoughts on this picture we just showed you? Does it tell you more about Ethereum, or does it tell you more about their competitors?
I think it tells you more about their competitors. I need to do a little bit of research into the scalability models of Algorand and Hedera. I just did a deep dive on Solana's for cysteine research, and I'm becoming more and more bullish on Solana and more bearish on layer 2s for Ethereum, because it fractures the liquidity across multiple ecosystems, multiple chains. And even when you add together Arbitrum's throughput, Optimism's throughput, add in Polygon, and all of a sudden you're talking about 3 or 4 chains combined not doing as much throughput, or not able to scale to the level of something like Algorand, Hedera, or Solana. So I mean, ultimately, I think Ethereum has phenomenal tokenomics, and I've been a long-standing fan of Ethereum. I still am a fan of Ethereum. There's tons of liquidity on that chain, but I think as more real demand comes into the space for use cases such as payments processing, that's a big one that we keep seeing pop up, such as payments processing, then I think you're going to see more demand for chains that can scale and have stable fee markets, right? If you're looking to integrate a blockchain technology for some massive large use case, whether it's blockchain gaming or payment processing or something else, you can't have these fee spikes. Even on the L2s, you can't have fees spike from 7 cents a transaction to 25 cents a transaction. That's just not stable enough, and it's too expensive. So I'm more and more bullish on these more scalable networks.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. You combine, like you said, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, and we're not even close to Solana, which is the third one. And so we always talk about, now it comes down to, okay, you're fast, you're scalable, but no one's really using your network. All the liquidity is on Ethereum. Where do you draw that line, and which side of that line do you land on? We do understand, this is the beauty of it, right? Bitcoin is great for a few things. Ethereum is great for a few things. Algorand can be great for this. Ripple could be great for this. It's the beauty of having an open, competitive market. Is it's like, hey, we're brand new, we're building. Show us what you got. What are you good for? And then the winners will be chosen by the free market. That's the beauty of crypto. Now, this was very interesting, to say the least. And here, I'll just show this to you. So this is from BitcoinNews.com. Their Twitter handle is BitcoinNewsCom. Bank West makes new conditions for credit card users. Your account may be canceled if you make a payment to a cryptocurrency exchange. So in their terms of service here, cancellation of electronic access. If a user seeks to make a payment to an account which we reasonably believe may be owned or controlled by a cryptocurrency or digital asset exchange, they may completely shut down your account. We saw this happen with a lot of content creators and influencers in our space. I know a few people personally that I've talked to, literally were on vacation and were trying to use their debit card to pay for something, and their account got shut off. They close their account. You go in there, you're like, hey, what the hell is going on? They're like, oh no, we closed your account. We're going to send your money via check. It'll arrive in the mail in 2 weeks. Like, what? I need my money now. I need to pay bills. Like, what's going on? That is why, me personally, and something I'd recommend for you guys, is have a completely separate account. Mine is through a credit union that you on and off ramp crypto, right? Or fiat through a crypto exchange. So whether you're putting dollars onto an exchange like Coinbase or withdrawing dollars into your account from Coinbase, have a different one where no bills come out of it, no automatic payments. It's money you don't necessarily need. As soon as you off-ramp your crypto into fiat into your bank account to take profits, you just go in there and pull it right back out. That is what I would recommend. Forrest, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's more of this in terms of service that people don't know from some of the bigger banks like JP Morgan, Bank of America? I know you, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you had an issue with this as well, right?
Yeah, I had my business bank account shut down on me for being associated with crypto, even though I did no crypto related transactions. I was just taking debit payments through Stripe for crypto. It is essentially because the name of my business got flagged because we used to be Crypto Stackers. It's Crypto Stackers LLC. So having crypto in the name flagged it in the system, and they just chucked me out, even though I had no crypto related
That's crazy.
payments. And it was just, we simply do crypto related research. I mean, in this particular tweet, this particular case, I don't necessarily, it's like they have it in their terms of service up front. It can make sense for credit card users. And the reason being is I would imagine, especially in this bear market, that there's a pattern of people that went and maxed out their credit cards thinking that, oh, I'll just take, I'll run up my credit card limit, $5,000, put this $5,000 in Bitcoin or some other coin or trade it. And then I'll pay back that $5,000 with my profits at the end of the month. And then they lose all the money. And then, credit card companies are, chasing down the debt.
Why you put me on blast like that, Forrest?
Pattern, and then that's something. What's up?
Why I got to put my business out there like that, man?
I can barely hear you.
I was saying
it keeps cutting out. But
I was saying why I got to put my business out there like that. But I was, of course, just
put your business. Oh, gotcha. No. I'm sure that happened, and now they've got to chase down all this bad debt. I think for debit card payment, like if it's your money, it's coming out of your account, they shouldn't restrict it. You should be able to do whatever you want with it. But with a credit card, they're essentially lending you money. So if they don't want you to lend money to people who are going to go gamble it in the crypto markets, I can get that. I'm not opposed to that as long as they have it outlined in the terms and conditions. I mean, that's totally within their rights. But I don't think that they should be shutting down bank accounts for crypto payments, right? Especially if it's your money.
You bring up a really good point for us. Like, it's my money. Credit cards, I get it. It's someone else's money, right? You're borrowing money and you're paying it back. But it's my money. You let me go to the casino and gamble. You let me go buy drugs. I mean, in Oregon, you can go to a vending machine and buy hardcore drugs. I'm not going to list them because we get banned. But the point is, it's your money. It was interesting to me with your business is this was, I believe, during a time where people were like banks were getting a lot of money withdrawn from their institutions. And so they're over here shutting businesses down. And you said you had no crypto transactions going in or out of your account. It was simply tied to your business name, which had the word crypto in it. I mean, if that doesn't tell you there's an all-out war against our industry, I don't know what does. Let us know what you guys think. Do you guys agree if it's your money, you should spend it how you want? Or do you think these banks have the right to say, hey, don't use your money here, don't spend your money there, we're not going to allow it?
I'd like to make a point about that.
Okay.
Especially when you go to the casino, you see the ATM machine where you can withdraw the money.
Yes.
So the company knows you have an ATM.
Correct.
The address is inside the casino, and you do a cash advance in your credit card. That's okay. But it's not okay to buy crypto.
That's a really good point. You can cash advance your credit card. Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense.
That's a good point, Rocco. Round of applause for Rocco. Rocco, give yourself a round of applause. Bro.
Thank you.
No, thank you, bro. All right, let's dig into macro just a little bit, my friends. This is from the Kobe AC letter. I highly recommend you guys go follow this Twitter handle. A lot of great stuff, very easy to digest and understand. CBO projections show U.S. federal debt rising by $5.2 billion a day. $5.2 billion a day. I'm not very good at math, so let's pull out this calculator here. $5.2 billion a day. Okay, this is $5.2 billion a day times 365 days. That's $2 trillion added to the national debt every single year. That is average. We got to understand. They pretty much have a blank check until 2025. However, since the debt ceiling crisis came to an end, U.S. debt has jumped by $30 billion a day. So 6x that amount. So about $7 trillion a year. We have added roughly $1 trillion per month in U.S. debt since then. Interest expense alone is on track to hit $3 billion a day. That means every hour the U.S. is borrowing $1.3 billion and paying $125 million in interest. What would happen if the U.S. was a public company? Well, they'd go bankrupt. And then we have this. This is from a user. This is the state we're in right now, guys. So this was tweeted from Grimace McDonald 1. 760 credit score, which is considered really good. 6-figure plus salary. Can't get a $40,000 personal loan. I have zero debt, pay all my bills early every month. I wasn't sure if the bank are tightening lending stories were true. It's true. Gonna be fun when stuff really hits the fan. We know what happened when inflation started rearing its head back in June of last year. People fell back on their credit cards to offset some of the rising costs. Now, banks have jacked up the credit interest rate to over close to 30%. They're decreasing people's limits, and the amount of people that are getting limit increases or even getting approved for a credit line are dwindling down. What does that tell you about where we're at on a macro scale for us? A lot of the analysts that say we haven't seen a bottom yet, they point to stuff like this and say there is a reckoning coming in the traditional markets, in everyday people's lives, and that's going to negatively affect Bitcoin and crypto. What are your overall thoughts for us on the economy as a whole, and maybe to tie into how crypto and Bitcoin could potentially benefit from it?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the common misconception is that, especially when the Fed started tightening rates back over a year ago, the common misconception is that this all plays out very, very quickly. And if you know, you go and watch The Big Short, right? I recommend that movie to everyone to kind of understand the 2007, 2008 financial crisis and how it came about. You know, Michael Berry had to sit on his short positions for something like 2 years, paying the premiums on those you know, swaps that he had bought. So these things oftentimes take a lot of time to play out, and you have everybody, you know, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, the end of last year, screaming about a recession towards the bottom, you know, point of the S&P 500. And you know, at the end of the day, this may take 2-3 years to play out. The Fed's tightening and they're staying tight until something breaks. Things are the cracks are definitely there, but nothing's broken yet. I mean, the S&P 500 isn't that far off of all-time highs. The bond markets are completely wrecked, and the yield curve is wrecked, but everything's still kind of functioning okay. But I think it's getting to the point where things are tightening up for the average consumer and the average person, the average household. You know, you have higher prices and so long as wages, and we're starting to see unemployment tick up as well. But if wages can't keep up with the high inflation that we've seen, then things are going to get tighter for the average person until something breaks and you start to see markets crash. And then what happens? You get bailed back out and the money printer revs back up. So right now they're running down the balance sheet, tightening up. But yeah, there's a lot of variables at play here. And then you look at the higher the interest rates go, the higher the Fed funds rate goes, the more interest expense that the U.S. government has to pay. So you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. So it's not ideal. It's a tough situation, and you know, hopefully, you know, I think the thing here is everyone's kind of hoping for a soft landing, and you kind of have like the hard landing versus the soft landing, you know, debate. But I think a lot of people sleep on the idea of like it could just be a long, grueling landing, where you know it takes a long time, 2 to 3 years of playing out of slow, grindy 3% inflation that just is kind of sticky, and it slowly, you know, eats away at people's purchasing power versus, you know, a big S&P 500 60% collapse that all the bears want to you know, you see so many people excited about a huge, massive financial collapse. You know, I'm going to buy real estate real cheap. I'm going to buy, you know, this and this real cheap. We could be in a situation that's, you know, uglier than that, in the sense that it doesn't give you a great entry point, but you just don't see any growth. You see stagflation. You see just sideways choppy price action where it's actually difficult to make money from an investment perspective. So that's one scenario that I'm keeping close in mind. And I just think these things take a lot of time to play out, and it's getting tougher and tougher for the average person here.
Yeah, I agree. And it might be long and drug out, but guess what, guys? There's a lot of positive narrative and factors coming into play for our space. Not only just what it stands for and what it does, more specifically, I would say Bitcoin when it comes to hedging against government, monetary, and currency debasement. but just in general, right? And I know a lot of people say, hey, we're not going to get a new bull market until there's money printing. They're not going to really have a choice, guys. They're not going to have a choice. We saw the Treasury Department come out last week and say, we're getting ready to buy up our own bonds. So they're issuing bonds and then they're buying them themselves. I mean, if that's not... who said House of Cards? Someone in the chat. Early Bird said House of Cards. 100% agree. It's kind of a funny question for us, but what's the probability percentage that the government, the U.S., pays all its debt back ever?
0.
Yeah.
0. Unless they just wipe their own slate clean. Unless they just say, enough with dollars. We're gonna wipe everybody's slate clean and do like some sort of reset. You hear about the Great Reset, so maybe it's above 0%. Maybe they just wipe themselves, wipe the slate clean for themselves. But yeah, it's not likely.
Maybe it's more than 0. Maybe it's negative. Maybe it's negative percent. I don't know what that means, but hey, it sounds good. You know what else sounds good? Is taking a look at the markets. And today's market segment is brought to you by iTrust Capital, the leading self-directed crypto IRA company in our space. If you want to open an account and you want a free $100, use the link in the description of our video. And if you want to enjoy your gains tax-free in retirement, use iTrust Capital. They're the company that we trust. Now, every Monday, we like to bring you some info as far as what can you expect. Is there going to be volatility? So again, from the Kobayashi letter, key events this week, consumer confidence data on Tuesday, new home sales data on Tuesday as well. On Thursday, we get quarter 2 GDP numbers. Forecast is 2.1%. Where will we come in? We've already had the 2 quarters of negative GDP growth last year, which was supposed to mean recession. But hey, things change, right? Those don't identify as a recession anymore. Then on Thursday, we have pending home sales data, and Jerome Powell will be speaking. What will he say? Probably more of the same. And then August PCE inflation data comes out Friday, and a total of 6 Fed speakers this week. So a very busy week, just as volatility has returned. As far as the crypto markets, from CoinMarket Calendar, few delistings on OKX, including Ethereum Classic. A lot of it has to do with the trading pairs, not necessarily the actual asset. We know last week we saw a delisting of AVAX and ETH trading pair. We do have a dev summit for Filecoin happening in Iceland. So if any of you are watching from Iceland, which I have no idea if any of you are, I highly doubt it, but there is an event happening from the 25th to the 27th of September. More delistings on OKX. We have Binance ending NFT support for Polygon NFTs. That is going to be happening tomorrow. Blockchain for Europe is going on from tomorrow until Friday. And again, the Big Babylon upgrade for XRD Radix, that is happening on Wednesday. So 2 days from today. And SHIB is having an AMA, the Shibarium net. So also we have a super chat from Jimmy. $5. What is the club limit today? 85. No, 185. 185. Viva Las Vegas. Now, take a look. What are some tokens that are going to be flooding the market? This is compliments of token.unlocks.app. So this is over the last, or in the next 7 days, the big one here, guys, for me is Optimism, with a little more than 3% of their total supply unlocking, which comes out to about $30 million. That is happening in 4 days, 9 hours, and about 30 minutes. GMT is another one. Sui, not sure if any of you are invested in Sui, but only 7.7% of their total supply is currently circulating. And so, Forrest, let me ask you a question. How important is inflation schedule for your investment thesis, or does it matter in the short term more, the long term more? What are your thoughts in general? And do you stay away from projects like Optimism who have such a high inflation rate?
Yeah, I personally do. And I think that token unlocked percentage number is really important. Like you look at Sui, and obviously the rate of unlocks is important, but you look at Sui, it's got 7.7% circulating. So by the time that gets to 15%, the supply is 2x'd. And when you 2x the supply, you roughly need to 2x the demand in order to eat up that supply and offset that and not see any changes in price. Now, obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but just the basic laws of supply and demand are going to dictate that you're going to need to see a large increase in demand if you don't want to see price drop when you see the supply increase. So when you talk about 7%, right? You talk about seven and change percent circulating. That means that the current circulating supply can essentially 13 or 14x before it's fully distributed. So that is a big problem. You're going to want to have to see demand, 10x plus to see price remain stable. So you're just swimming uphill when you're invested in these low, these high inflation tokens. Now, you can have a higher inflation token. You could have something that's, at a 5-6% inflation rate or a 3%, whatever it is. But as long as the vast majority we see it with Bitcoin, right? As long as the vast majority of tokens, I think it's like 90 something percent for Bitcoin. As long as they're circulating and you don't have the potential for, Bitcoin, for example, the circulating supply to 2 or 3x, then you need significantly less demand to bring in price increases. So I think it's worth people going back to Economics 101 and looking at some supply and demand charts and just asking themselves the question of, hey, how much supply is out there and how much is going to be hitting the market? Because when that supply hits the market, it doesn't look pretty, especially, and it matters much less in a bull market when demand is plentiful and there's tons of demand to go around. But when you're in a bear market and we're not seeing a lot of demand for digital assets right now, we just aren't. There's tons of different coins out there, and of these individual coins, many of them are highly inflationary. There's just more supply than demand right now, and because of that, we see prices decrease. Well, when you just get when the supplies get hammered with these token unlocks into a market that there's not a lot of money flowing into, we see you can go to the charts of how much USDC and USDT has been minted and is liquid in the market. That's your essential base measure, a rough measure of how much demand there is in the market. And we see that usually, or lately, it's been decreasing. It's been decreasing for the last year or so. So yeah, I mean, it's not good. It's not good, especially in a low demand climate. So I try to keep tokenomics in mind whenever making an investment.
So if you have a badass project that you are like, oh my God, finally a project that is solving a problem, amazing founder, wow, they're doing, oh my God, their token unlocks are terrible. You're completely staying away from that regardless?
It just depends on how bad the tokenomics are, right? So you can have middle ground. You can have something like Chainlink, which I think is a phenomenal project. But the Chainlink Foundation does own a large chunk of tokens, and they do dump from time to time, and we see that taken out in the price, especially in a bear market. But with Chainlink, I do think that the demand that's going to come in is going to outweigh a lot of the supply side overhead. So if it's an amazing project and the tokenomics or the supply side tokenomics are less than ideal, but you think that the demand is going to outweigh the supply increases, then I think it's still reasonable to bet on that project over a long time frame. But if it's something like, in particular, like I think a really good example is Optimism. And I don't want to bash Optimism. I think it's great technology. I really think it is. But I think they have a lot of competitors. There's a lot of tokens out there that are somewhat similar and give you similar exposure. But then you have a very low circulating supply, high inflation. And all of a sudden you're fighting uphill. And you're going to have to see a lot of demand come in for Optimism tokens to support the price. And maybe it will. Maybe that demand will come in and it's there. But maybe it's not. Maybe it flows into the competitors, the poor tokenomics, or for other reasons. So it just depends on the project. But yeah, it can be a deal breaker for sure.
I want to know what the chat thinks. Same question to you that I asked the Forest. You have an amazing project, but the tokenomics are crap. Are you still investing in that project? Yes or no? Put a 1 for yes, put a 2 for no. Before we move on, I do want to give some love to the chat. I know a few of you have mentioned Robin. He did put out a video on our Twitter from his comfortable hospital suite in Henderson Hospital. So if you want an update, go watch that video. But he is doing better. I spoke to him this morning, actually. He's excited to get back on. He misses all of you guys. We miss him too. And so go check that out. I want to give a couple shout outs. Dan's Lecoul said, there isn't enough money to pay debt. QE Infinite coming soon. I agree. I think they're just not going to have a point. Also, TOTW100, first time I'm seeing you. Welcome. Cryptic Mushroom, Early Bird, Dexter, Big Bags. Big bags of what? Let us know. Speaking of that, we'll do in our portfolio review tomorrow. We've already selected one. We'll tease it tonight on Twitter, so make sure you're following us. Also, again, guys, just a reminder, we'll be doing a giveaway for Sistine Research. At the end of the show, all you got to do is just be active in the chat. Okay, we're going to have Nightbot pick a lucky winner. Who else we got in here? Also, guys, if you're new, say hello. I'm My Hero. How you doing, my friend? Cryptic Sniper. And I think that's all I see for new people. Also, guys, we're at 162 viewers, 88 likes. Not bad, but we can be better. We can be better. Let's show YouTube we like this channel and just like the video. Now, let's get into the crypto markets and see where prices are.
Hey,
where
is the hola? You didn't say hola.
Oh.
You did all these things for half an hour. You didn't
To all of you that I just mentioned and rambled off names for, hola! Also want to give a special shout out to my boy Redman in studio joining us. Round of applause. Thank you. Guys, if you're ever in Vegas or you're a local, you want to come hang out in studio, as long as you're not a weirdo, please reach out to us on Twitter, email us at sincitycrypto1@gmail.com, and we'll set you up. We'll bring you in here. Also, Tanya Nuttall. Welcome, Tanya. Must be Italian. Tanya Nuttall, like Nutella. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. Okay. CoinMarketCap. Wait, what the hell happened? CoinMarketCap. Okay, come back to me. All right. Market cap down 0.4%, sitting at 1.05 trillion. Volume is up 70%, up to 26.3 billion. Bitcoin dominance slipping under 49%. ETH dominance holding steady at 18.2. Bitcoin, $26,331, down 1% over the week, 1% over the 24 hours, and up just a slight bit, just a little smidgy on the 1 hour. Forrest, BTC, what's going on, bro? We got a big breakout coming or what? We got a big breakout coming or please.
Yeah, so I do want to cover Bitcoin. I also want to take a peek at Chainlink because Link is up 7% today. It's got a very interesting chart. We were talking about it yesterday and last week. I was talking about how an ideal portfolio for me is basically Solana, Chainlink, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. I don't think you have to branch out a whole lot further than that to get some really solid crypto exposure. But looking at Bitcoin here, and I made the joke after this large crash that we saw back in mid-August, and we spent so much time on this 4x long margin pressure level, made the joke that CZ from Binance has the algorithm, the Bitcoin pricing algorithm set to 26K, right? And then we had the court decision in favor of I'm blanking on it. Grayscale, thank you. With the full retrace, we moved right back to this 26K level, kind of chopped below it, had our 25K test, our move all the way up to 27 and change. And now we've just recently reverted back to this 26K level. It's almost like there's a pricing algorithm. And I'm not going to get into market makers and all that kind of stuff, but it almost feels like I'm not going to say a pricing algorithm. I'm going to say an equilibrium point where we've put in a lot of volume and we have like a point of control around 26K. So we've since seen a nice little bounce off of that. We're actually seeing a green Monday, which is counter to what we've seen a lot of in the past. Usually in the last 6 to 9 months, we've actually seen really strong follow through and bounce backs on Tuesdays, historically speaking, for essentially this year. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a little follow through on this tomorrow. But as of right now, we've just bounced off of this 4x long margin pressure level. What that means is you've got people that want to go long on Bitcoin, and they can do so on 4x long. They can add to their leveraged longs on 4x leverage while maintaining a liquidation point below that last 19.5K low. What's that 19.5K low? Was around that SVB collapse time. It's a really pronounced low where we had a lot of demand come in. If you don't think Bitcoin's going below that level, you can go long on 4x leverage and not get liquidated. until Bitcoin goes below there, which is fairly unlikely that it goes below 20K again. And according to a lot of people, they're willing to take a bet on that. So other than that, pretty choppy price action for Bitcoin. I mean, we do have a low here. We've kind of established a high, and it looks like we're trying to establish a higher low, in which case maybe we go up for a higher high and start developing an uptrend. That would be closer to my base case. I do think we see some drift upwards into this Bitcoin ETF decision. I think, 26K Bitcoin, people are thinking, well, if Bitcoin goes to, if we get this Bitcoin ETF, you very likely see 32K plus Bitcoin, right? Breaking out of this 31K resistance level in the event of a Bitcoin ETF approval on October 16th. So I think there's going to be a lot of pricing that in slowly. And then my base case is, denial or delay. We probably, see a lot of downside, and approval. We see a lot of upside. I do want to take a peek at Chainlink though, because we are running into a little resistance pocket. So if we zoom out on Chainlink here, we kind of have this triangle pattern, right? And one thing about these triangle patterns that you can do from time to time is you just take the terminal point, and wherever that terminal point of that triangle is, draw a line over, and oftentimes, frequently, you will see some resistance at the horizontal level of that terminal point. We also have a 3-to-1 risk reward level there, meaning if you're looking to go short on Chainlink, and maintain your liquidation point, or I'm sorry, maintain your risk reward, your risk scenario on a short here above this local high, and your reward scenario on a short below this low, you can start going short and get 3-to-1 risk reward. A better way to explain that is if I take out the short position tool and I say, hey, let's put our stop loss behind that high, and let's put our take profit down at this low. You're getting roughly a 3-to-1 risk reward level as soon as price goes above about $7.52. So for the bears out there, you're going to have more bears and more sellers come into the market here at around $7.50. Now, Chainlink is making its rounds on social media, getting a lot of attention for the Swift partnership. I think Sergey, the founder, was talking somewhere about Swift and potentially Chainlink being the infrastructure for helping manage and process a lot of these payments and bridge a lot of these payments. So very exciting news for Chainlink, but overall we do have a little bit, and I want to double check this and just make sure. Well, I wouldn't call it bearish divergence quite yet. It does look like we could be moving though into some, kind of structural resistance. You do have a psychological level at 750. Like I said, we just have this risk reward level. We have the terminal point here. So after a big 7% move like this today, I wouldn't be surprised if we at least get some consolidation around here. All that to say is, look, you're seeing Chainlink pop 7% in a day. Your gut instinct is to FOMO in. I think if you want to look for a Chainlink entry point in the short term, you want to wait for a pullback to the $7.20 region where we got some resistance, where we've seen consolidation in the past, where we've seen resistance in the past, we've seen support in the past. It wouldn't be too crazy to see a pullback and then trend continuation. So if you're thinking about FOMOing here, I think the safer bet is to wait for what would this be? Maybe a 3-4% pullback, save yourself some money, and then hop in on a trend continuation. One thing to keep in mind is this kind of general trend line here. Not going to get too crazy with it, but if we pull back to this region, we fall back down below and lose $7 to $7.20. That is a trend break, and you want to be careful, and you maybe even look for a short position or look to abandon your Chainlink position in the short term, unless, of course, you have a long-term thesis for Chainlink, in which case I think you're fine holding here for the next year plus as Chainlink recovers some key levels. All that to say, just trying to, not financial advice, but just trying to dissuade people from trying to pile in here because I do think there's a quite a bit of resistance in this region that, maybe we do blast through it and run right up to this trend line. But it would be in a market like we're seeing right now. Maybe if we just got a really bullish day tomorrow on a strong Tuesday, we could see something like that develop for Chainlink. But I think it's more likely, and there's a high risk of at least slowing down and chopping, and maybe printing a bull flag here and then breaking through, or just a pullback straight back down to 720 before we see this kind of general trend continue upwards. So that's Chainlink. Chainlink looking very, very strong. Just running into a little bit of resistance here in the short term.
I'm super bullish on Chainlink, man. After the CCIP, the staking, more utility coming to the token outside of just Oracle service. Great team, longevity. I mean, Chainlink to me is one of my favorites going into the next bull market. And for me, my time horizon is a little more long-term. So for me, anything under $10, $12 on Chainlink is a good buy for me. That's just me personally. That is not doing scalp trading or day trading or swing trading. It's just buying and holding until we see new all-time highs. Call me crazy. I think Chainlink can get up to $150 in the height of the next bull market, even potentially more, but we'll see. All right, let's move on to some of the biggest news of the day. We have this: Ripple goes on a hiring spree in good old Canada. Oh, Canada. If you're from Canada, put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious. All you Canadians, put a 1. We're not going to make fun of you because we like you. But blockchain company Ripple is set to bolster its workforce significantly with a primary focus on Canada. They're focusing on roles such as principal engineers in different domains, senior software engineers specializing in areas like machine learning and data platform, and various managerial positions. They are also looking to hire individuals in more specialized roles, including those related to Ripple net payments and technical program management. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently stated that the company's strategy is to allocate 80% of its hiring efforts to markets outside of the U.S. this year. 80% of the hiring is going to be outside of the United States. Forrest, Ripple continues to grow even in a bear market, even after spending $200 million on a lawsuit here in the U.S. They continue to hire. They continue to acquire. They bought Medico. They bought Fortress Trust. Again, they're continuing to hire. How bullish are you on Ripple and XRP going into the next bull market? And just what are your general thoughts on Brad Garlinghouse, the team, what they're doing, and yeah.
Yeah, I think a week or two ago, I kind of went over the idea that Ripple could be at an inflection point here in the next year or two where it just sees a massive, massive price appreciation period of time like we've seen in the past with Ripple. And like, I think I compared it to maybe something along the lines of like an Apple, a Microsoft, a Tesla, where it just explodes in valuation in a very short period of time as the market finally, as they finally find product market fit and, get more clarity on the future. So look, I don't own any XRP at the moment, but I think it's a decent hold. I think, there's, like I said, I'm more, Chainlink and Solana. But look, I mean, I think XRPs could see a pretty crazy move in the future. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, especially if they find product market fit and the market kind of catches up to adopt what they're building out for a lot of the banking infrastructure. So. I'm not necessarily holding it, but I am in tune with the chart and paying very close attention to it.
How come you're not holding it, man? What's going on here? I'm getting a dirty look from my friend Redman in studio here. What's going on, bro?
Too bullish on Solana.
Explain yourself.
To make room for it.
Fair enough. I hold Ripple myself. I've actually been DCing into it as well. I think what RippleNet, the XRP Ledger, is doing, I think is phenomenal. It's borderless. It's fast. The payments, the central banking. A lot of people call it a banker's coin. But for me, XRP is an investment, not necessarily something I plan on holding forever. I will be rotating out of my positions as the price goes up. I do have certain limits I've set as far as when I'm going to start DCAing out. But as of right now, anything under 75 cents, I continue to DCA in. I think Ripple's got a lot of potential. And think about it this way, guys. If this was just a regular company or an industry just here in the US, it'd be kind of screwed, right? It'll be hanging on. What is the SEC going to do? When's the lawsuit going to be over? But again, the beauty of crypto is it's not just tied to one government, one country. It's global. Everyone around the world can use it. If the US decides to mess it up and not get their act together, guess what? We're going to hire in Canada. We're going to hire in Dubai. We're going to hire in Indonesia. Fill in the blank. So, yeah. Jimmy said, hey, look, 185 likes already. You liar? We're at 102. We got a little ways to go. 185 likes. We will open up the club. All right. Speaking of opening up, the Mixin Network has opened up their books to a $200 million hack. This is, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Forrest. You mess around in DeFi, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm saying like you play in the DeFi ecosystem more than I do. And we continue to see hack after hack after hack. So this time it's the Mixin Network. They lost nearly $200 million. And it's to the point now where if it's not, there's not a B at the end of the number, we just brush it off like, it's nothing. But guys, $200 million is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So this article from CoinDesk kind of highlights what happened. Mixin Network has confirmed a report from Slowmist that it has been hacked for nearly $200 million. This is a quote from the Mixin Network. In the early morning of September 23, the database of Mixin Network's cloud service provider was attacked by hackers, resulting in the loss of some assets on the mainnet. The funds involved are approximately $200 million. Now, what is Mixin? They are a service similar to Layer 2, designed to make cross-chain transfers cheaper and more efficient. But the problem with this, as many have pointed out on Twitter, is that it's relying on a centralized database, creating a single point of failure. I want to stop there, Forrest. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of DeFi, right? I mean, to have a central point of failure, a central authority, a centralized database. And what are your overall thoughts on where the DeFi and decentralized economy is? I mean, this has got to be putting a stain on the market. Who would want to mess with DeFi when you can wake up one morning and your funds are all gone?
Yeah, I think when are the growing pains, if that's what you can even call them anymore, going to stop? It's pretty painful. This is not something that I've done a lot of reading into. It does beg the question of what other networks do have a centralized database. I'd like to know, because that seems like a big problem. Hopefully none that I'm currently using, or that anyone here is currently using. But it seems like it's not necessarily a problem with blockchain architecture. It seems like this is more of a centralized database, single point of failure type issue, and it doesn't make sense to add a centralized database as part of the stack for a decentralized network. This is also something that a lot of people have brought up, the fact that a lot of validators for the vast majority of networks run on Amazon AWS. Or some other cloud provider, which could be an issue moving forward if Amazon were to ever take a stance against censoring certain blockchain transactions, or not necessarily censoring transactions, but disallowing the use of their servers for certain blockchain networks.
That's a good point as well. We're seeing what the banks are doing. Could a company like Amazon or Google that provide these cloud services to these crypto companies, could they just one day wake up and say, yeah, we're not doing that? Can they face pressure from the government? Who knows? But does this change for us your strategy when it comes to DeFi, and your strategy when it comes to just decentralization and maybe doing swaps or staking or whatever the case may be? Is it just too risky, or are there safeguards that you can put in place to make sure that you can participate in that ecosystem without having to worry about your money being stolen?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly safeguards you can put into place, but I mean, anytime you're in DeFi, you're taking on that smart contract risk. You're taking on the risk that something like this does happen that's kind of out of your hands. I mean, you can break things apart and diversify, use different wallets, use different services, use different staking validators. You can chop things up, spread them out. So you don't have, you lose 100% of your portfolio if, one platform or one network gets hacked. So there's certainly ways to diversify your risk. But right now, and I think one of the big reasons why the DeFi ecosystem everywhere is struggling so hard right now is you got treasury bonds at 5%. Yep. So, one of the major use cases for DeFi is stablecoin yield farming, right? Well, why stablecoin yield farm for 6% and take on all that smart contract risk when you can get 5.3% on short-term bonds right now? So it almost doesn't even make sense to be using DeFi unless you're willing to take on a lot of risk for a few extra percent.
That's a really good point for us, and it really hurts to say that, but it's the truth. It is what it is. Guys, we're going to be drawing the winner for our giveaway here soon. And all you got to do is be active in the chat, and the Nightbot will pick a winner. So, as I go through all that I go through, I need you, if you want to win 6 months of free access to cysteine research, start spamming the chat. Start spamming the chat. As you're doing that, I do want to give a couple of shout outs. First, the channel sponsor Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business, visit bluewiretech.com. Also, big thank you to Radix, the top layer 1 DeFi in our space. Big upgrade coming to their network, and they're also a sponsor of this channel. So big shout out to them. If you want to learn more about their project and what their ecosystem looks like, visit radixdlt.com. Also, guys, we did pin in the comment section here Forrest's channel, YouTube channel, the link to his YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed Forrest TA, you want more Forrest, visit Cysteine Research on YouTube. Go subscribe. Also follow him on Twitter at Cysteine Research. Cysteine like the Sistine Chapel, and research like research. Also, go follow. My voice is messed up, bro. I am struggling so hard. I'm trying to drink water. I'm trying to drink coconut water. Nothing is helping. Keep spamming the chat, guys. We're about to draw the winner here. Also, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. If you are in Vegas this weekend for NFT XLV, or you want to come to NFT XLV, let us know. We have a booth there. We want to meet you guys. We're going to have a good time. So big thank you there. Forrest, we're going to give the chat a little more time.
Yeah, make sure everybody spams.
Spam the chat, guys. If you want to win 6 months of free Cysteine Research,
In the meantime,
spam the chat.
We're going to have also Redman here in the studios. Giving hola. You want to give an hola?
Yeah, I'll give him.
There we go. Very quick.
Hey,
While-
to all my sinners out there, hola!
Damn, bro.
All right,
Robin, you're
so-
fired. Just kidding. Someone said, did Robin get ousted from the company? No, he did not. Okay.
Stupid.
All right.
Guys, everybody, there is only, I only see 30 people. I'm going to show like this so you can see there is the chat. There are only 30 people so far that are eligible. So you guys want to spam the chat, give it a little another 30 seconds for you to catch up, and then we're going to draw the name, okay?
Spam the chat. Forrest, while they're spamming the chat, tell us anything exciting going on, anything you want to share with our community.
Yeah, that's time to spam
And
the
also,
chat.
big thank you to giving this 6 months free. We appreciate you giving back to our community. We've always said you're pretty much part of this channel, and so thank you for giving back, man. We appreciate it. Anything you want to add or say?
Yeah, so that'll be 6 months of the research hub. Prices will be going up in the future once we get a Bitcoin ETF approval. Don't want to increase prices until we actually get a bull market catalyst, but they will eventually be going up. So it will be a higher value. But yeah, we just recently launched 3 brand new proprietary indicators. So we're up to 8 indicators now in the indicators package. So that also comes with the research hub. And then we just put out research. We're a boutique research firm. Recently just put out a Solana deep dive. Also going to be putting out a Bitcoin ETF kind of information packet and scenario analysis / guide, so people know how to handle what to do. They're not panicking when we get an ETF delay and the market starts tanking, or we get an ETF approval and they don't feel like they have to FOMO in. And then also going to be putting out a trading course here probably sometime in October, November as well. So just constantly trying to add value to the research hub. There's tons of content in there and tons of content to come. And you get access to indicators, and you get access to the research hub channel in our Discord community. Yeah. So if you're looking for a community, we've got a great one. And yeah, excited to welcome somebody here into the research hub.
I'm telling you guys, this is some good stuff. The winner is we're going to be very, very lucky. Rocco, with that being said.
Yeah, we got a 39
let's go ahead and draw the
people
winner.
here. Okay, let's roll it.
Let's draw the winner.
let's
Who
see
is
it.
going to win
That's
the
it.
free 6 months?
Hefe.
Hefe!
There we go.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
my friend. You have won a free 6 months of Sistine research. So big shout out to you. How do we want to do this? We want to have him email or reach out on Twitter. What are you guys thinking here?
Ideally, reach out to me, DM me directly on Twitter. I will go ahead and say this right now. I will not be reaching out to anybody first or establishing contact with anybody first regarding this giveaway. If somebody reaches out to you, it is an impersonator. They may try to get you to give them crypto or buy an NFT or do something to scam you, right? So I won't be reaching out, but Hefe, if you just reach out to me via Twitter, I'll be keeping a lookout for your DM and we'll get you squared away. I'll just, all I'll need is essentially your email address. And yeah, we'll make an account for you and set you up.
Amazing. Forrest, thank you again, man. Really appreciate it. Giving back to our community. We appreciate it. We also appreciate you. And I appreciate going to drink some hot tea with some honey so I can get this voice back for you guys. Yes, please.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Okay.
With that being said, Rocco. That was a zigzag tornado. You know those crazy tornadoes in the Midwest?
Crazy.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure to join you. And you join us. Come back tomorrow, same place, same time. We love you guys. Peace.
Sin
See you.
City,
Ciao,
crypto. Everybody know we here for
Duckface,
entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya.